What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
And now, broadcasting from the cow capital of the West and home of the world-famous Miles City Bucking Horse Sale, it's time for Rodeo Randy on KYUS 92.3 and KMTA 1050 AM. Now, let's saddle up and ride. Here's Rodeo Randy.
Well, thanks, John, and good morning, Miles City and Eastern Montana, and wherever you may be listening to us. Welcome to the Rodeo Randy Show, where we talk about my favorite sport and everything associated with my favorite sport, and including the Western way of life, and of course, that's the exciting sport of rodeo. As always, our show is streamed live worldwide on 92.3 KYUS and 1050 KMTA, and on top of that, our show is on the YouTube channel at Rodeo Randy Show / YouTube. So you can listen to our show anywhere, anyplace, anytime, 24/7. And with that said, I would like to introduce my guest and welcome my guest into our studio this morning, Roxanne Harding, officer of the Miles City Ranch Rodeo and Bill Harding Memorial Bronc Ride. Welcome, Roxanne, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Randy. I appreciate the invite.
Well, now let's talk about some of the classic ranch rodeo events you have scheduled for tomorrow.
We have, first of all, a youth, women, and open ranch rodeo, and they'll all compete in 4 events, that being team sorting, branding, rustler race, and the doctoring. Other than in the open, we will go to the crazy wild cow milking instead.
Well, that cow milking, I was kind of interested in that because when I grew up as a kid, I grew up on a ranch and a farm, and when I was in a junior high and high school, guess who had to go out and milk the cows at 30 below zero?
Correct.
But then I thought about it, when you're sitting on a 5-gallon bucket at 30 below and you grab a hold of the cow, sometimes that's a wild cow milking. I might have qualified back then.
You might have, but there'll be no buckets this weekend to be sitting on.
So let's talk a little bit about what's the rustler race.
Well, the rustler race is basically we let 2 steers turn out at the end of the arena. And then one of the steers will be headed, and then one will be heeled. They'll be headed and heeled. And then we'll throw and tie any 3 feet down. And then the second steer that's turned out will have to be headed, and they will load it in the front end of the horse trailer.
Oh, okay.
So, and once the catch rope is off and the gate is slammed on the trailer,
that's your time.
Time is called.
Now, can you bring
and the other steer has to stay tied down. That one has to be in the trailer.
Okay. Can you bring your blue heeler dog to help you?
No, we've had one in the arena before, but yeah, they're not allowed.
I don't know if you still have an event back in Circle way back when. Did they have ribbon roping back then?
We've done a few things like that, but we try to keep the events basically that are true to events that happen out at a ranch,
okay.
Like trying to catch a stray and brand in a pen and the events that are true and rodeo events.
Bringing back the history of the old cowboy days when they had to do it. Correct. Well, now I suppose guys using their quads and 4-wheelers would be cheating out there in the ranch.
Yeah, I don't think they'd fit too well with what we got going on.
Okay. And then also, I noticed you have sorting and doctoring. So is that like we were talking about it earlier, so what does doctoring consider of?
Basically, you're going to head and heel, and you're going to string basically the front feet and chalk the head, and then that'll be the time for it. But they'll just kick out these cattle. They'll start when they cross the line, and basically you have to take the cow down, tie the 3 leg. We'll just mark the head, but it's like
in the old days.
Yeah,
now,
other than doctoring it, we'll just
when they go out, they have the steers in the end, and they got to pick out a steer. And
what our event is going to be that they're going to put 3 head in numerical order. So the riders will come into the arena. The announcer will announce the numbers or the brands, whatever that is going to be used that day. Basically, they have to put those animals out in that numerical order.
That gets pretty wild in there.
It can, and you can only let 5 head can't cross the line.
Well,
so
okay.
You have to keep the other cattle back.
So they don't. Yeah, interesting. Yep. Okay, now so men and women competing.
Correct.
And then, so what are the women's categories, or what are they doing?
They're basically the same events, other than we are not doing the wild cow milking for the women.
Oh, I can understand.
And then also the women's teams only have 4 members.
Okay.
Whereas the open team, it's not men or women. It's basically 5 members on the open team, and they have to have 1 member of the opposite sex.
Okay, so that'd be That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Now, and how many?
Open team.
Open team.
Yes, because we've had full 5 women. We've had 4 women and 1 man. We've had 3 and 2 versus, so it's not, it's an open team, meaning that you have to have 1 member of the opposite sex.
Okay, so I read that wrong on
no, not a problem. And
Facebook then. Men and women, so it's open.
it's an open team, correct.
So now, you're giving away some considerable prize money.
We do.
And prizes.
Correct.
So what are some of the prizes?
Well, we have great prizes by many of our sponsors. Buckles are always the best.
Yeah.
And then cash is always king.
Oh, cash is always king.
Yes, cash is always king. So we have buckles, we have wool pads, we have halters and lead ropes, we have wallets, we have blankets, we have brushes, we have boot jacks. Might even have a little liquid refreshments,
Sure.
pocket knives, jackknives.
And then
So-
I noticed too that the winning teams and the Bronc riders will qualify for the Eastern Montana Ranch Finals in Terry on September 14th. But let's talk a little bit about Bronc riders, because we haven't mentioned the Bill Harding Memorial Bronc rides yet. So what are some of the prizes, and how many riders do you have in that event?
Well, our Bronc ride is kind of near and dear to my heart, as it's after my husband, who has passed. We have so far 16 to 17 Bronc riders that have entered. I mean, we have Bronc riders coming all the way from Wyola, Wyoming, Howell, Utah, Kansas City, Missouri, and I actually had a young man call last night that just moved here from Texas. So
Okay, so he qualifies. Now,
Yeah.
do you have to be
you do not have to qualify. You just have to pay your entry fees, but to be the top rider to qualify for the finals in September.
So would you let Sage Newman come in?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
really?
why not?
We might get a sponsor to come
Well,
in.
heck yeah. You bet.
Okay, so then in Terry, now, we mentioned the finals are in Terry,
Mm-hmm.
September 14th. So how many other towns or cities, if you will?
Basically, we have 7 rodeos that will compete throughout the year, and then they will qualify for the finals in September. Us taking the top, I'd say the top 2 of the open, top 2 of the women's, and the top youth rider as well, rodeo team as well. So, and they'll all qualify and compete in September, and the finals this year is held in Terry, Montana.
Yeah.
So we kind of do it on a 2-year rotation. It was in Miles City for the last 2 years, and now has moved back to Terry. So we're excited to have Terry help us and support, because they always put on a great rodeo.
Of course, and Terry is right down the road from us.
You bet.
We
It's a
can go down
perfect
over there.
location.
Okay, so sounds like fun tomorrow. Exciting.
Yeah.
And then admission is only $7.
$7.
And,
And yeah, we've got like 10 open teams competing, and we've got 3 women's teams and 4 youth teams. And we'll start right at 11 o'clock with the team meeting. And then we'll go right into the rodeo exactly at noon, right after open rodeo, the Bronc riders. And that's how we'll end the rodeo.
And then, of course, the concessions are by the Custer County
Yes.
4-H Club, so we can come out there for
Oh,
lunch.
please do come out for a little bite of breakfast as well. I'm sure they'll have something warmed up, and the coffee will always be on. And if you're not a favorite of coffee, the Bison will be next door with liquid refreshments as
adult
well.
libations, I believe.
Very true. Very true.
So do you have some other people you'd like to mention?
Oh, you bet. We have a great board. This is our 15th anniversary. So we're all excited to be celebrating 15 years. And there's 3 of us that are been on since the induction of Miles City Ranch Rodeo that are still helping. And that would be Ryle Harms. He's our president. Aaron Helm is our vice president. Myself as treasurer. And Ellie Gill, as our secretary. We have Aaron O'Connor, Megan Von Emmen, Jimmy Harding, Alec Hagen, Kurt Leninger, Tom Plant. I
You've got a
don't think I'm
great
missing
crew over
any.
there. And of course, you
Yes.
couldn't hold the event without your sponsors.
Our sponsors are number 1 for us, and we have great sponsors. I'd like to do a special thank you out to our top sponsors this year, that being Tri-State Livestock News, the Bison Bar, the Bucking Horse Sale, Lesh and Company, and as always, Miles City Saddlery. New this year to us is the Miles City Dairy Queen, Mid Rivers Communication, Anna Pro, MC Electric, Miles City Livestock Center, Ag West, Cowtown Ag, Gordon Repair, Mexico Lindo, Bogun Ag Company, and of course, Creative Corner and Prairie Pickens. So,
Without their support, it would
oh,
be pretty hard to
yes,
have
and
all these,
many,
so.
many others that have supported us with prizes, dollar donations, these just being our top sponsors. So,
Well, Roxanne Harding, thanks for coming in.
Oh,
We're
thank
almost
you for
out of
inviting
time. I
me.
can't wait to get there tomorrow.
Perfect.
Come out for lunch and support the Custer County 4-H gang out there.
You bet.
And of course, admission is only $7, and 12 and under is free. Fun for everybody. And of course, we can come on out there and have a good
Come
time
out.
before Father's Day on Saturday. Sunday.
Yes. Perfect day, and it looks like perfect weather. So
Well, that's going to be awesome. Well, I can't
Yeah.
wait. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'll be out there then. But before we go, most of you know that today is Flag Day, and which commemorates the adoption of the American flag design as well as the symbolism and history behind it. As President Woodrow Wilson said on June 14th, 1917, quote, "We celebrate Flag Day because the flag which we honor and under which we serve is the emblem of our unity, our power, our thought, and purpose as a nation," unquote. I would like to take this time and opportunity on behalf of Miles City, thank the VFW Club, Post 1579, for putting up our flags this morning on this very special day. And if you happen to see that volunteer crew putting our flags away, taking them down this evening, tell them thank you and that you're proud to be an American. Well, folks, that's wrap it up for another edition of the Rodeo Randy Show. So stay tuned next Friday on the Rodeo Randy Show, and happy trails, everybody.